Hello and welcome again to East Coast DNA. This time we're actually in the recently renovated Pictou deCoste Center. So it's a little quiet here right now, but I don't think it's going to be very much longer. We've got Al back, which one of the more popular episodes towards the end of the year was you promoting a show that technically didn't happen. And we're here together again in the new year for the actual show. But for those that didn't see or don't remember, because the holidays were just that long ago, there was supposed to be the kickoff for the Apollo sessions up here in Pictou.
Yes.
And due to weather, the actual deCoste Center show was rescheduled for tonight, which is what brings us here today. But anybody that was in Pictou that night did get a little treat up at Fat Tony's. So there's actually some clips out on my YouTube for East Coast DNA and on Instagram. And I would be remiss not to mention Apollo Originals Instagram as well, because the boys over there have their own little media crew. So there's some content there as well. So get out and subscribe everywhere. But I did notice that in the last few weeks, you had a few little revisions to tonight as well. Still have the shuttle service.
Correct.
So I'm excited to hear how that goes, because it sounds whiny if you're not from Pictou County to drive for 20 minutes. But really, it is, if you're going to be drinking, it's a pain to get back. And some people, even if they're not really getting on her, they like to have 2 or 3, especially if it's a longer evening. So I am excited to see how the shuttle service goes. And I'd like to see Pictou County Transit get used so that we can keep getting funding for it so we have it.
For sure. And I mean, it's a barrier for people to go to shows. Like you said, to jump in a cab for 20 minutes, it seems extreme in Pictou County, and making plans and stuff. And then from a safety perspective, I mean, obviously it's a 19 plus event. We have a beverage partner with Nova Scotia Spirit Co. It's a rock and roll show, so people will be indulging, I would suspect. Not everybody. And we do have some non-alcoholic options for people too, but safety first and foremost, and access and convenience secondary. And again, Pictou County Transit and the Chad folks have been awesome to work with, and just allowing us to kind of broaden the horizons of the Pictou County away from that. We mentioned in the last episode that the kind of Stellarton to Glasgow, downtown core.
Yeah.
And opening things up to more, Pictou and even like the rural parts of Nova Scotia, to have these music and entertainment events without being right in kind of the heart of what we would consider kind of a downtown area.
And it's a little bit of a distraction from this, but a quick shout out to our buddy Marshall Fiat up in Truro, because they kicked off their Subvert series. I saw that last night they actually had Wants and a few rappers in the lobby.
Yeah, that looked like a really cool event.
So yeah, that looks pretty cool. We'll have to get up and check out one of theirs too, see if we can steal some of the ideas.
Yeah, Marshall and I are kind of beefing right now, so I was shout out Marshall last episode, but now I'm kind of like, I'm not sure where Marshall and I stand.
Well, we'll see. I'll run a little competition throughout the year.
Yeah.
We'll let the fans decide. Ticket sales. We'll have a contest here as the most ticket sales for 2025.
Money talks, Marshall. Keep your head up.
You've been warned. We'll wait and see. I'll keep the tally going on Facebook or something. So aside from that, I did notice you also, and I didn't ask you any questions about this before, so I don't know. There's a menu over there with some very exciting, unique food items for intermission, I'm assuming.
Yep. So actually, you alluded to it earlier, Darcy, but with the snowstorm that kind of put a kibosh to our last show, we were able to kind of scramble and do something for the folks that were ticket holders just up the road at a bar here in town. And kudos to everybody that was involved in that process, the bands, the fans, the bar owners and stuff for letting us still kind of throw a show.
Yeah.
Albeit a different version of what's happening tonight, but still a very cool event. But what that did is it gave us time to kind of get back into our creative side and figure out, okay, well, what more can we bring to the event, right? And that's something with Apollo and what the deCoste Center here so far has really allowed us to do is to bring in some unique things to make it more than just a 2-band show, right? Yeah. So we get together as an Apollo group and thought about what we could add to it. And one of the things that we did was reach out to a friend of ours, Ben Gilker, of the Green Room, and he was kind enough to kind of offer his services to come in. So what we're going to do tonight is have almost like a snacking sample kind of thing for folks as they come into the lounge, get their beverage or whatever it is they're going to do before the show, pick away at a couple of samples, and then we're going to have a full menu for intermission. So folks can come out, have a bite between bands, and there's nothing better than when you're out and about for the night and maybe you didn't eat enough
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time, and a quick intermission bite is kind of a nice treat.
Yeah, I know myself as working media at a lot of these events. I see people like yourself that are putting these events on. Like you're here from like 2, 3 in the afternoon, sometimes earlier, right through to like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. So those little snacks help us get along, and it's a nice little bonus for anyone that's in the show for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And when we look at the menu, it's Ben's bringing his game.
Yeah, I snuck in through the kitchen when I came in here today, so I had a small little sample on the way by. It was just enough to make sure that I'm definitely out here during intermission and not just like resting somewhere in the corner. So
And Ben's doing a really cool thing too, where this kind of snacking samples at the start are mini versions of the bigger
Sweet.
plates in intermission. So
So you know,
figure out what it is that they're after later on.
amazing. And now I know there's a lot going on tonight. We're going to start seeing people come in through the doors here soon, and we got a couple loud bands. But I want to get a couple minutes idea about what to expect for the follow up to this show, because we did mention when we had you on there a few weeks ago that this was going to be a series, and I think you had maybe already alluded to maybe it being in May timeframe.
Yeah, I think we did announce the date. It's gonna be May 3rd. So that date, barring any natural
Yeah,
forces, I guess, will still be a go. So we're gonna go with May 3rd for Apollo Sessions Volume 2. This is gonna come out after tonight, obviously.
Yes.
So we can go ahead and tell folks the lineup.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's gonna be kicking off the night is a band called Fairgale, from St. John's, Newfoundland. I met those guys at Sommo Fest, where you and I both were, September. Super good guys, really good band. Kind of leading up to the ECMAs being in St. John's, we thought they were a really cool fit to bring in. Andre Pettipas and the Giants, kind of close to home, local guys.
Yeah,
mentioned
for sure. Yeah, he may be floating around here as the guest MC of the night.
Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, he's I think getting his hair styled up right
Yeah,
now.
it sounds like him.
Our MC for the evening. But Andre and the Giants are going to come in and rock with us. And then we're bringing in our buddies from Ontario, a band called Kasador.
Yes.
Really cool band. They've been slugging it out for a while, hitting the road pretty heavy. And I think they've got some new tunes coming out
Cool.
prior to that date. So we're super stoked about the show. It's a continuation of the Apollo series, and what we see is kind of the next step. This show is two Nova Scotia bands with Pictou County connections. So it's kind of an easy one to get up off the ground. Rock solid bands that we knew people were going to come out and see. This one brings in bands from outside of town that people might not be as familiar with.
Sure.
But we're hoping that riding the momentum of this show being a success, people will take a chance on maybe a band they haven't heard of, and it gives them enough time to kind of check those bands out.
Absolutely. And I did actually small little plug for them too back Juno week, just because everybody was floating around in Halifax. I had a chance to see Andre perform with some of the Fairgale guys because they were all hanging around together. So they kind of did an impromptu thing, which they went together really well considering it wasn't practiced or rehearsed. So with the show not being until May and Andre also working on new material, I'm really excited to hear all that. Kasador did awesome back at Giantstock. So there's definitely photos of Fairgale and Kasador, and of course Andre Pettipas out there on my Instagram. So if anybody wants to go check them out, I'm pretty sure most of those shots would have some music to go along with it too. So I might give you a little sample, encourage you to buy some tickets. But speaking of tickets, how do people get them? Are they available after tonight?
Yeah, tickets will be available. Just looking at the clock here now, in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So when we make the announcement to folks that are in the building here tonight, tickets will go live at that point.
Great.
We're gonna have some QR codes and stuff for people that are here to buy tickets, but we'll make sure all the information is out there. deCoste Center will have it. We'll have it on all the Apollo Originals social media. Hopefully East Coast DNA does a little plug for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So tickets will be out. We're hoping to do it kind of in a similar way. We don't know exactly what other elements that we're going to bring in, where tonight we have the live painting and we've got the food menu and a few other things. It's definitely going to be something in the same theme where it's not just you come in to see a band and go home happy. It's going to be a lot more kind of entertainment and artistic elements that we're going to pull in. So, the team at Apollo Originals, we like to keep things fresh and innovative.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be another continuation of that for sure.
So anyone that's listening to this now, by this time there should also be photos out on my Instagram from tonight. And I'll throw a link to ticket sales, assuming that there's something available online by the time I post all this too. So definitely lots of time for people to get tickets, but get them now. The quicker the tickets sell for these things, the easier it is for people to make plans for the next one. So maybe volume 3 won't be so far away if ticket sales go a little quicker now. So I encourage people to go out there, buy tickets, follow all those bands online, follow the Apollo Boys online. And if you get a chance, I don't know if the shop's open right now or they opening in the new year at some point for people to swing by and grab some clothes.
We're doing kind of sporadic openings right now. The boys are in the middle of kind of renovations at the shop. So there will be a kind of a grand opening happening soon in the new location, which is kind of a stone's throw away from where we're at now.
Perfect.
Cross Center here in Pictou. The shop's looking really good. They've got a ton of brand new clothing and kind of hats and toques and all kinds of stuff out now. So check out the Apollo Originals social media website. And yeah, the store should be up and running here very shortly. It's going to be a pretty cool space.
Great. So follow along with East Coast DNA as well, and we'll try to get those guys in here to get. Maybe I'll go down to the shop once they're open with everything and get a few shots, and we'll do a little chat about what they have to offer up there too.
For sure, yeah. I'm sure the boys would love to have you in, and we'll pop by the shop and we'll do this again.
Perfect. Thanks again, and let's go enjoy the show.
All right, thanks, Darcy.
Thanks.